At long last, it's time for part 2 of how to run the wing T.
We're not going to get a second chance in the game.
Welcome back. It has been a minute, that's for sure. But got busy in the last month, but finally got around to making part 2 of how to run the wing T. Now, as I dove in, I thought here in this second video, I would cover the 80 series and the 30 series. I would cover them both. But I quickly realized there's too much to it. So part 2, 80 series, and part 3 will be the 30 series. But it's time to dive in without further ado to the 80 series. Now the 80 series here, let me go back real quick. That middle series has really, that's your fullback focused series. And this series, in my wing T world, has slowly but surely over time become a bigger and bigger part of our offense. The more I learned the offense and dove into not just running belly and down, but focusing on running them well and spending more practice time on them, the better our offense got. And when you really make the decision to either really look into the wing T or actually run the wing T, you start to realize that you really, we just went through the 20 series and now you're into this 80 series and you start to enjoy the science behind dissecting defenses and how do we keep them honest and how do we hurt them when they're overplaying this one thing, or how can we hurt them when they move into this one front. And this is where it really gets fun. And while being a wing T guy or a guy that likes to run the ball a lot, you take a beating a bit online or maybe from parents because it doesn't look like what you see on TV. Boy, is it fun when you dive in and you realize how good it is for youth and high school football. Let's go ahead and just jump in. We're going to start with down. Now, down, in my world, I've always called this belly. This is what I grew up calling belly, down, down, kick. Some you'll hear it called the G scheme or belly G, but in the wing T world, this is known as down. To the tight end side, down, down, kick. There's the overall look at it. Let's dive deeper. On the front side, this is your point of attack. And if you've heard me talk much about football, you'd hear us talk about our POAs. We spend a lot of time in our POAs. It's our point of attack drills, right? So we're going to spend time, a lot of time, daily time, with this group of people together, and we're repping these plays over and over, just the point of attack. So I've got two fronts right here. You really, if you're going to run a play, it's important, of course, you want to have rules. At least most systems are rule-based. You have a rule. If they do this, we this, right? If you block a gap, then a down, then a backer, which is, you're going to see that's in here. But it's also important for your kids to understand they're going to get one of a couple things. So in these examples, right, we're really looking at like a 4-4, your classic 4-4. Where that defensive end is going to try to play inside of your tight end. Or you might once in a while see a 4-3. You don't see a lot of it anymore, but in fact, one of the best teams that ever defended us sat in a 4-3. So you're going to see these things. But the bottom line is your tackle and tight ends rules are gap down backer. So let's look at this tackle here on the drawing on the left. Does he have a man in his gap? No. Does he have a man in his down, which is the man over? Is there a man over the guy inside of him? Yes, there is. Okay, so that's my block. Gap down. This man, do I have a guy in my gap? Yes, I'm going to block him, right? So both of their rules, gap down backer. Now, the wingback's rule is technically gap down backer, but I'm going to get to a little adjustment for him that I think is important. For the most part, I really want this wing to a linebacker. It's not a real good matchup to have a wing blocking, in this example on the right, to have this wing take that defensive end. I believe that when a defensive end is playing on the outside edge of a tight end, that is a difficult block. A very large body against your usually much smaller body. I don't think it's a fair matchup, and I don't think belly doesn't look good against it, or down does not look good against it. So we want to skip. We really want to get our wing back to the linebacker. And our kids want to know, hey, my guard knows I'm kicking the first man outside the tight end. Not the first man outside the wing, the first man outside the tight end. That's the man I want to kick. Okay? So, gap down backer, and this guy, we call it V-pull kick. we want to not, I did not draw a good clean line here. We want to step, and we want, as we teach our guard, we're going to climb over these guys' backs. Like we're climbing over our guys' backs. We're not running behind them. Picture them laying on the ground. I have to crawl over them, so my hands are on them. We want to crawl over their backs. That's how tight we want to be. And when we get outside the last down block, we really want to look forward first. If this man is squeezing tight, then we'll kick him. Whoop, got to go back. But if this man here, because if I go back a slide, notice on the belly, I keep calling it belly. I told you, we've always called this belly, but this in the wing tee world is down. On the down, you have the quarterback continuing on and the halfback continuing on for an option fake, right? So you could run down option. Now, we've not run down option. We might call once in a while to keep it, just to mess with someone, but we've just run down, and we've complemented it with sweep, but your belly sweep play. But this guy outside, especially in a 4-4 with an outside linebacker here, he really does, a lot of times you'll catch him coming almost upfield or at the line of scrimmage because he's got eyes on that halfback. I like that wide halfback. Like he's been taught, stay outside, stay outside, stay outside, force everything back in. So all of a sudden you run belly. How many times am I going to do that? All of a sudden you run down at him and he's staying outside. Well, if that man is not squeezing in tight, then your guard does not need to worry about him. Move on, move forward. And again, you're not going to get that unless you rep it quite a bit. Now, this is the instance where we will have the wing back block that defensive end. When you catch the defensive end playing really pretty much head up on your tight end, then usually you're in some sort of front where that defensive end, a lot of times, in fact, he's stood up. He's like a stood up guy, but he's been taught you're going to collision this tight end wherever he goes. We want you to get hands on him and not let him release. And you'll run into this quite a bit. And whether they're in a true bear front or they're just trying to do something funky and mess with you, they have taught their guy, head up at the tight end and get your hands on him. In this case, and only in this case, we make it a cloudy call. Meaning for the tight end, that guy is not clearly inside of me for me to block him, and he's not clearly outside of me for me to skip him. It's cloudy. So we make a cloudy call. And when we get a cloudy call, because we know this blue man here is going to get hands on our tight end when our tight end down blocks or steps down hard to climb, that blue man is going to step down with him. So now once I have his action going inside, now my smaller wing back, with the help of his action going inside and his hands being on the tight end, my wing back can make that block. And that's where we want to teach that wing back again, shoulder to the hip, ear on the rear end, and run my feet. That is a makeable down block on a D end by my wing. But it's only because that defender's been taught to squeeze with that down block. And that's when I know he's going to, when he's truly head up of the tight end. I think that's a really crucial point. I think that's a really crucial coaching point when you're teaching down that could really get you some extra mileage. On the backside, of course, we're just scooping. And really all we need you to scoop is A-gap. The play hits so fast that we really only need you to scoop the A-gap. We don't need to worry about a down lineman in the B or C gap. Skip anybody there and scoop the second level. Now let's talk briefly about the backfield. On the down play, in my opinion, it's the easiest backfield in our system. I wish I could redraw that blue line by the B back right now. I would really draw it through the tackle. We want our B back to take off full sprint, point A to point B from where you are through the outside foot of that tackle. Sprint. And we want him, we teach him, when you first start, go so fast the quarterback can't get the ball to you. And that's where the quarterback begins to learn in your practice how to open. He has to reverse out extremely flat and reach because that B-back is gone. It is a difficult handoff for him to make. He has to get used to snap, spin, reach. He's got to do this in a hurry. and you want that B-back to challenge him. Try to outrun him when you're first running this play. The worst thing you can do is your B-back is looking at the quarterback and waiting for that handoff. You want this play to hit quick. That's why it's effective. It hits so fast. Sprint, eyes on the hole, trust your quarterback to get it there, and likely in the first day or so, he's not going to get it there. He's going to miss. Don't slow your B-back down. Speed your quarterback up. And your F, well, he's got to run. He's going to sprint. He's the pitch man. If you were to run down option, again, we don't like running down option. We're not an option team. And in my opinion, if you want to be an option team, well, you got to commit a lot of time to it. And us being a 2-platoon team, we've never had time to commit to the option and commit to being excellent with our fakes in our wing T system. So we just leave it out. They don't know that we'll never run down option. And the reality is that our halfback gets the ball so much that that outside linebacker has to honor the fact that there's a horizontal stretch being put on you right now as a defense. So that is our backfield. The down play, again, I think I've probably underused it in my career, but it is effective and it hits fast. And it really, boy, we have really used it down on the goal line. Down on the goal line, we'll run a lot of down. Let's get into belly. The belly and belly sweep itself has really changed our program in the last several years of my career. And it's because I dove deeper into it. I found more resources. I found the guy that I thought was the best in the country at it, and we really spent more time on it and committed to the belly more. Now, the belly play is that weak side play in the wing T, and because of belly sweep, it had the popularity of belly sweep over the last decade. You'll see belly more and more. Now, belly is also known as ISO, and a lot of the wing T community, you'll just hear them say XB. XB for cross block. You got this cross block up front and the halfback leading through. Let's dive into some details. This right here is the bare minimum of how you need to coach belly. These are generic terms. You can call it whatever you want. We called it Jumbo Charlie. Is the B gap open? Well, we're going to open that gap there with the tackle blocking out and the guard blocking down. We're going to open that gap and we're going to let the halfback lead through. If it's not open, and not just this, like this picture on the right is clearly closed B gap, but there's a lot of times where like this tackle is kind of head up of the guard and it's a little bit cloudy. If it's cloudy at all, we want to Charlie it. We want to cross block that. If it's cloudy at all, if it's clearly an open B, open the gap. Let's part the C. Let's go. But if it's not, cross block it. Tackle down blocks, guard kicks, and your halfback leads through the hole. Now, again, if you want to dive deeper, actually, I spoke at this year's Trap Life Clinic 2025, and my whole presentation was being good at belly and belly sweep. And I got most of my information from this guy, Butch Goncharoff, who was on the virtual clinic the year before from Bellevue, Washington. So now at this point, we block belly 5 different ways. You know, we're going to ID the front, and we have 5 different ways we would block belly. Right? One of those 5 being if they were to blitz. Right? We have a different answer for that. And because we've committed so hard to it, so heavy to it, we have gotten good at it. And once you're good at it, well, then that's when belly sweep opens. But if you want to see any more detail on how to get better at belly, I would highly recommend these videos. They can be found over at traplife.vhx.tv. I would check those out. Now, on the back side of belly, we want to scoop, but now we're going to scoop A and B gap. So if you remember on down hits so fast, I really only need you to scoop A gap. We're not worried about B gap, get up to the linebackers. But in belly, it hits a little slower, so we want to scoop A and B gap. So our kids will learn that. Now let's talk the backfield. In the backfield, I'd really like my wingback to get a quick head start on the snap. I'd like him to take off in motion just before the snap. And that's really just to get the attention of any outside linebacker, any outside player over here. That fast motion coming early gets his attention, and the wingback's just going to sprint right through the toes of the fullback and halfback and wide. Sprint and carry out your fake for 10 yards. Your halfback, of course, he's in the lead block, so he's in on the blocking scheme. He's got to get there in a hurry. And your fullback wants to take one lateral step and go. One lateral step and attack where we're going. The quarterback wants to reverse out with some depth, and we really want him to get his feet, well, what we'd say, perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. So we really want left foot here, right foot here. I wish I had a drawing tool for you. Let's get a drawing tool real fast. Insert, shape, shapes. A square? Okay. I want left foot here. Whoa, that's ugly. And let's copy and paste that and move it into place. Oh, let's see if this worked. There we go. I actually put it on the wrong slide, but this is where I want his feet. The left foot and right foot. I want to get perpendicular, right? I want to close that door. So we're going to come back to the footwork of the QB in a minute. So he's going to try to close that door, give that handoff, and as soon as that B-back is gone, he's going to turn again and give a flash fake to that wingback. Even though a lot of times that wingback is almost past him, if not a step past him already. He's going to go ahead and flash that fake and then sprint out the other way. Now we get to the magic, belly sweep. As Clay McKee said when he was up visiting for the 2024 Trap Life Clinic, I said, why is belly sweep, you think, why has it been so good to you? He said, it's hypnotizing. It really is. The belly and belly sweep combo just becomes hypnotizing. And if you commit the time to it to be incredible at this fake, you are going to get a ton of mileage out of belly sweep. So let's dive in. Here's one quick look at one clip I pulled from our belly sweep play. This was against a pretty solid football team, and you'll see that mesmerizing fake and give to the man sweeping around the outside. And if you run it well, you end up with a lot of space. So how do we get it done? All right, the real magic of the play is in the backfield, which we're going to get to, but you do need to determine a way to block it. I have seen guys block this play in a lot of different ways, and I think you can be successful running it in a lot of different ways. As long as you have an answer for penetration or a tight A-gap player so that he doesn't get penetration, then you're going to have success at the play. Here's what we went with. Our default way to block it is there on the left. We want the tackle to down block. We want the guard to pull with a lot of depth. And then that halfback is going right at that last man on the line of scrimmage. And you'll see it in that last clip. Watch how much depth this guard pulls with. A lot of depth. A ton of depth. He wants the halfback to get by him, and now he's getting out wide. And as we usually say, find the one man who wasn't fooled. That's what we're usually saying. There's going to be one man that wasn't fooled. Find him. Look inside first, outside second. The halfback wants to run right at that last man on the line of scrimmage, but he understands that man is usually going to be fooled. So you're going to run right at his outside shoulder. If he is still there where you started aiming, then take him. But if he's gone, which he probably will be, move on. And that's what you'll see right here from the F. Let's look at that last play one more time and now watch our halfback. So our halfback right here, this lead blocker has eyes on this man, and he's going to run right at his outside shoulder. If he's still there when he gets there, he's going to block him. But if that man is not there, which he's not in this case, watch our halfback go right at him. He squeezes down. We're going to move on. And we're going to move on and stay along that same line. We want to stay along this same path. And we'll take the next man that shows. Now, on the right, you'll see that at minimum, the answer you need to have for penetration. So whether it is this linebacker blitzing or it is that this tackle is in such a tight split that the tackle cannot get down to him on this block. The tackle looks at it and goes, I can't get all the way down to that A-gap. That A-gapper is going to beat me. Because we do have fairly decent splits. When I know that, or again, I get this front and I get this linebacker blitzing, we need to make a call. So make up a word. Make up a word and make that call right now And when you see it, everyone is down blocking. The guard's going to down block as well. We're not going to pull the guard. And now my halfback is going to replace my guard's pull. Okay, his job looks very similar. He's going to run right at this man, this last man on the line of scrimmage. If he's there, take him. If he squeezes, continue on. But it's slightly different in that if he bites, we do ask this halfback to kind of swing out wide. Swing out wide and replace what we were getting with that guard if that man bites down on the fullback fake. So that's how we block the point of attack on belly sweep. But I do believe you could get away with blocking it in other ways. In fact, I've seen teams get away with blocking it in other ways. The real magic is in the backfield. Backside scoop, well, this is huge. You do, because it is so slow developing, probably the slowest developing play that I know of in football, besides some sort of like double reverse. We have to scoop backside A, B, and C. So our kids know in the 80 series. Now, our kids don't know that it's called the 80 series, but for us, in this series of plays, down, belly, belly sweep. Again, in down, we only have to scoop backside A. In belly, we have to scoop backside A and B. And in belly sweep, we have to scoop backside A, B, and C. We got to protect all of them. We cannot really worry about getting our backside guys down to the next level. We can't. We have to protect the backside of this play because it is so slow developing. Now, this is where the magic is, and there's no doubt in my mind that you need to really have some good coaches on this that are committed to being good at it and understand that the difference between being average at it and good at it are how well you fake it, and how well the kids fake it comes down to how well your coaches hold them accountable to faking it. And you can't really only worry about fakes on Friday night. If they're not important on Tuesday afternoon at 4:12, then they're not going to be important on a Friday night at 7:12. So everything about this looks the same as belly with the following exceptions. Number one, the wingback does not leave early. In fact, he pauses. He pauses and delays his go so that he can time this up after the quarterback reverses out, puts the ball in the fullback's belly, has his feet at perpendicular angle, that last outside foot has closed the door. We're truly perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and I want my quarterback to ride it and turn his eyes to make eye contact with linebackers that this fullback is running at. Turn your eyes. Those eyes and being low are the key to a great fake. And the second we pull this ball out of the fullback's belly, we teach the fullback to actually cover it. Quarterback has to trust his fullback not to take it, but we have to cover it. We have to be, our hands have to be on our quarterback's arms, like we are on this ball. And when I reach the end of this fake, the quarterback's going to pull. And when he pulls, I'm going to let that snap my shoulders. And you'll see that in that blue line right there in that drawing. It's going to snap my shoulders, and I need to make a hard cut back away from where this play is going. Once the quarterback pulls it, he's made eye contact and pulls. Now he's going to turn all the way back the other way and give it to that wingback flying across. That we want that wingback going as fast as he can possibly get in the 4 steps or so he has up to that point. Now, when you're practicing this play, and this is very important, that the quarterback at first is always going to feel rushed. He's going to rush his fake because he feels like he has to hurry to get it to the wingback. And that's what you as a coach have to fight against. The fake is the fake, and I encourage you to start this play without the wingback so that the quarterback and the fullback know how to make an incredible fake, and the quarterback isn't worried about the wingback coming. This is the timing of the fake, and you turn and hold the ball out, the wingback will be there. Time that up first so the quarterback knows how long he needs to take, how slow it goes, what an incredible fake, what incredible commitment we have to this fake, and then turn and give to that wingback. And now when you put it all together, here's what's going to happen. Your quarterback is going to ride it. He's going to turn, and when he turns, the wingback will want to already be gone, or the wingback will have stopped in his tracks because he realized that I left too early. And that's on the wingback. It is now on the wingback to learn how long do I have to delay here as a wing, before I can take off sprinting, so that when the quarterback, the moment, the instant, the 10th of a second, he turns to give this ball coming out of this fake, I'm there hitting it full speed, right? So there's the timing of it. That's where the magic happens. And once the quarterback does give, then he's going to reverse out the other way. Let's go back to our clip, and now we can watch our wing back. Watch the delay, sprint. You can see he takes the first step is slow, then he gets going. Slow, go. Now, you can run the play to the tight end side, and we do. We block it the same way. The wingback just replaces the halfback on the other side. We add the tight end to the down blocking rules. But the play in the backfield, right, technically we're faking down because we don't ever run belly to the tight end side. But we run the play the same. We would just call it sweep, right or left. And in this case, that halfback is now the delayed guy who's going to take that fake. And his delay, because he started closer, is even longer. Like the play will start, and the halfback, it almost looks like he forgot to start playing football. Long delay, takeoff sprinting, and it's a highly effective play to the tight end side as well. Now, we do have, in fact, some of our best play action pass comes off this belly and belly sweep. And I got it all from the McKees down in Scott County, Kentucky. If you want to see that, this video, and I'll link it below, it's here on YouTube. It just moved from game winner access to touchdown access. So if you're a touchdown member here, that's $7.99 a month. You can see this video. Again, I'm linking it below. It just moved to that access. And that is where we got, honestly, the best play action game. It became even better to us than boot and waggle. This became our number one play action pass, our ways to attack, our opportunities for big plays in big moments. And it all came from the McKees, Scott County High School in Georgetown, Kentucky. Man, are they good at it, and we stole everything from them. So there you go, man. That's the 80 series. Now, how do I be good at? How can I be good at this? Well, number one, a lot of repetitions. Practice it over and over and over again. Not just in week 1, not just in week 2, not just until they learn it. Keep repping it. All the way to championship week, you're repping it. You want to be great at it. Key number 2, accountability. That comes from your coaches. Who's coaching the running backs? Accountability to carrying out fakes. Accountability to footwork, eyes, shoulders, hands on how these fakes, how does it become mesmerizing? I have to hold them accountable on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that then it shows up on Friday. And last but not least, you commit to it, right? You don't spend a ton of time once it's installed on all your trick plays, all your shotgun formations, your wrinkles. And if you want to be really good at this, then you commit to this. So that's just reality. Again, there's a lot of ways to coach this game and a lot of men that have been more successful than I have. But if you want to be good at this, just commit to it. Say, this is what we want to do well, and so we're going to commit to running it this often and repping it this often in practice, and we will only add things with this amount of time that we have at the end. And if we can't fit in this amount of time, then we cannot replace this time, the meat and potato time, with the wrinkles. We can't do it. That's how you get yourself to be really stinking good. Well, we will finish up as soon as I can get to it to part 3 of the Wing T, which would be that 30 series. I hope you'll join us back. Hey, interact with us below, whether it's a thumbs up or subscribing or sharing it on X or leaving a comment. All those things help us out, and so we appreciate all interaction, guys. Ask questions, whatever you got for us.